Just let your freak flag fly, man.
Perhaps I should improvise or do an improv.
No, reinvent the wool.
I like to eat healthy, so I invented the celery phone.
You are the unfunniest man I've ever seen. Teaming up with you would be totally pushing the envelope.
Mother, how did you get this number? It's a prop phone.
Stop riffing. The gig is yours.
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Is he talking about?
What's good? You hear me chuckling because last episode I let you all know, the listeners know, and now in 20, that once I press that button, that theme start going, my clock starts, and I'm like, all right, if I hear Chris Tucker's voice, I gotta straighten up. It's time to straighten up. So what's good, y'all? You know who it is. You know what it is. It's me, Mario. Welcome to the Appraise the Phrase show, origins of everyday expressions, where we're here to do three things: confirm the meaning, assess the value, and unveil the origin of common everyday phrases. Hey, Mario. I'm here. 20. What's up, 20? Talk to me, man.
Man, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? It's a great day. Feels good, man. The energy is positive. Woke up. Thank my Lord for the day. You know what I'm saying? And just taking in all great energy today. So everything's going to be great today. How's everything with you? I know you said you were good, but how's everything with you?
Everything is not good, but that is not a sympathy reel. Like, that's not a cast for sympathy. It's just that, holistically, how would I even know when everything is good? Like, it was just an honest answer of I don't know when and if everything is good, but I feel great.
I'm tracking.
It is a good day. We typically don't timestamp, but whatever's going on right now in the energy of my home, I like it. It's just me here right now, but I like it. I've set the pace. I have set the pace, man. So speaking of pace setting, I want to get right into the episode, bro. If you don't mind.
No, I definitely don't mind that, Playboy. I definitely don't mind that.
Cool. I've never actually asked you before.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm so excited to answer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always been ready to answer, as you can see just now. I've always been ready to answer, but I never put that pressure on you to ask. So I appreciate you asking.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's do it. The reason I want to get going so fast, couple things, the phrase, the guest, and everything in between, everything in addition, all that. So first, before talking about the phrase, let's talk about the guest. The person who me and Tony will be rocking with today is someone who I said off the record that I must say on the record I'm a huge fan of as a person, how they go about, again, first time actually meeting, quote unquote, e-meeting, but just seeing the presence online, there's online presence, and then taking that presence and impacting material things in the world. You gotta love it. The content of that is the youth. So if you know us and you know ATP, we rock with the youth heavily, more heavily than most things. So let me not waste no time rolling out nonprofit owner, a founder, and a certified positive discipline educator. Natasha Nelson is in the building, the ATP building. They've been waiting.
Oh, they was out in the line out early.
The line stretched around the corner. All right, y'all.
Hello,
Sit
you
down.
handsome and gorgeous lot. Thank you so much for having me, Rio and 20. I'm happy to be here.
Oh,
Hey, that's what's up. So let's take all the ambiguity out of there. Talk to us about you, about your nonprofit, and welcome everyone into your space before we get into this episode.
Perfect. Well, the first thing you should know about me is I hate that question. It's so funny because I have to answer it so much, and I give a different answer every time because I hate the question. So who am I? I am a person of many hats. I like to say I'm a Renaissance woman. You know, they used to have that term for men, but I'm a Renaissance woman. I'm a veteran. I am an autistic adult. I am a parent of two children who also happen to be autistic. I'm a wife. I just worked out with him in the gym and made his legs hurt because we had leg day today, and we do that on Thursdays as a day. I'm a certified positive discipline educator. Positive discipline is based off Adlerian psychology, which is individual psychology, with the knowledge that yes, our social environment and our biology impacts our mindset,
Mm-hmm.
but we still have our own private logic that comes from our experiences. And we make decisions every day that are psychological. So when you are acting out or acting in, it is based off a bio, psycho, or social unmet need. And I live by positive discipline, not just in how I parent, but also in how I love on my community. I say positive discipline for everybody. So the husband gets it. I'm taking care of my mom. She live with me. My mama get positive discipline. My children also get positive discipline. And if I gotta, negotiate or talk to another organization and they start acting out or acting in, they might get some positive discipline too. So
Hey,
Ooh, I like
look.
that,
Now
man.
I
You
feel
know,
look,
listen,
look,
I
look,
felt
look.
like,
All of
hey,
them,
listen.
all of y'all out there, all of y'all out there that be acting out, acting in, you can get some too. I also am glad that because every now and then, flip a coin, Natasha, between who it'll be per episode.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
I
we
think
also
both of
gonna
us.
need me and Tony gonna need some of that positive.
and
I'm
I
over
have
here
some
like,
tools
what
for
are you
y'all now. I
doing, man?
do. We
Hey,
call it positive discipline. So supernova parenting, which is my foundation, is
mhm,
is specifically about empowering parents and caregivers, right? So as you said, I'm all about the babies. But what I notice is people will be like, I'm about the kids, I'm trying to help the kids, but who the hell covers the kids' lives? Who manages the kids' lives? Who finances the kids' lives? Who influence their mental capacity? It's the adults, the caregivers and parents in their lives. And so for me, it was about empowering, educating, and supporting those parents so I could help those kids.
right.
So
Oh, that's
that's what I
awesome.
focus on. I empower parents and caregivers of children of color, black and of color. I don't think those two are together. So
Hey,
black
I like it.
and of color who are navigating any type of neurodivergence, not just autism, but neurodivergence, intellectual developmental disabilities, and mental health vulnerabilities. We are seeing a lot of children dealing with mental health challenges, especially after the pandemic, by teaching them education, giving them support resources around their community, and giving them a support group where they can vent. Because a lot of times, parents who have those children feel like if they complain, they're being ableist or they don't love their child or all. But if you have a child, period, you should be able to complain because it's hard work. But if you have
Yeah.
a child who has any type of disability or mental health vulnerability or neurodivergence, you're going to be dealing with extra hard challenges because society doesn't really treat those kids very well and there's not really a lot of places for them. So you need somewhere to say this shit is hard. And I
Yeah.
like to be that place too.
Heard that.
He- he-
Listen, listen. We don't usually do this on this show, but whenever you ready to get your potting going, let us know. We would love.
Hey, yeah. Usually
We
that'll
don't
be
usually
off
solicit
the
on the show
record, but yeah, you ready?
like,
You are ready.
we don't solicit like that
It,
on the record like that. We don't do that. We don't do that.
it's
We
so
don't do
funny
that.
you say I was just talking to 20 before you got on,
Mm-hmm.
Rio. My
Mm-hmm.
best friend really wants me to do a podcast with her. She's a licensed mental health therapist, and you know what I do. And she wants it to be called Act Out, Act In. So y'all hearing it first. Act Out, Act In, and it'll have her coming from the mental health as a licensed mental health counselor there perspective, and me coming from the positive discipline perspective. So what our actions look like. She's going to talk about what that looks like mentally inside, and I'm going to talk about how you act out and act in, how you can instead regulate, get yourself together, and respond instead of act. And then, of course, we're going to do books and references and things that go with that, with a book club and stuff like that. But she really wants to
That's
do it. And I
hard.
was like, don't know. And she was like, you are an orator. Before anything else, you are a
Mhm.
speaker. You need to
Oh,
do
that's
it.
awesome.
Hey, listen. So I'm glad. First of all, I don't even have a button for like first here first. Like I don't have a
Yeah, we got
newsflash
to
button, heard it here first
we
button.
got to put that
But
on
I
the
will
list.
say, sorry, Natasha. We're gonna go with Tasha from now on. Tosh from now on. So,
Tosh works.
hey, that's where we going. But
Yes.
it's gonna be some 5K plus folks that are gonna hold you to this now. You can't, ain't no going back now. So
She has been on me for the last month. She had me in the Four Seasons in Atlanta and then made a whole bunch of the whole bar agree that I needed to do a podcast after she made them explain
Mm,
to them what I do,
that's a
what
friend.
how I'm passionate. They were like, "Oh yeah, no," and they came up with like 500 names in the bar.
Oh, that's
Uh,
there we go. We ready. We
that's a friend
working.
right there. That's a friend. Shout out to the friend right there. That's a friend right
Shout
there.
out, yeah,
yes,
for real. That's a friend. That's a friend. Cause you ready. We gonna tap into that. You know, you got a friend and partner in us off top.
yes.
So let's with that, because it sounds like I try to make sure the phrases are somewhat relevant in some way, whether I'm connecting that dot under the surface or it's an overt connection. So with this one, we're gonna let us in this room and the audience, listeners and viewers, connect that dot. Man, we'll see me, playing with the strings a little bit. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of push the envelope.
And in 8 parts, I'll explain that phrase.
Yeah. So let's go. 20, set the stage for us. Your connection, your thoughts. Push the envelope.
Now,
Envelope to some.
I'm about to say, I was just going to say that too as well. You know what, Mario? This is the craziest thing about this show is because I have a clear cut, like, I feel like what it means to me is totally different from what, like, and that's only because of this show. And if ignorance is bliss was my favorite phrase, but
Season three,
yeah,
season two champ.
if there wasn't this show, I would be like, you know what, you can't tell me nothing. When somebody say push an envelope, boy, you about to get me mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go off. I am about to go off. You're pushing me to my limits. You are really piling on whatever it is that's about to make me weak, and then I am what is it, acting out or acting in?
Acting out, acting in. There it is.
You know what I'm saying? You about to see that. You want the smoke, you about to get the smoke because you're pushing my envelope. But
Pushing my
because
envelope.
of my experience with this show, I feel like that has nothing to do with the phrase.
Oh man, are you biased or jaded or somewhere in between? No,
I would say jaded. I would say
let's
jaded,
see.
dog. I would say jaded. I would say jaded.
And that's all I have to say
Let's
about
see.
that.
Let's see how that goes. All right. Tosh, where you at with it? Connection, thoughts?
So this is gonna sound this. Let me warn everyone right now. I don't just have autism. I got half of the DSM-5. If you're not familiar what the DSM-5 is, it is the manual that psychologists and licensed professionals use to diagnose people. So it lists all of the different diagnoses of psychology in the world, and then it tells the psychologist how to see the signs and things like that to diagnose, right? And I got half of them. That's a joke, but I got a lot. Now, with that being said, when I always thought of push the envelope, right? I have a fear of bills. I got trauma, right? I grew up poor. We were housing insecure, things like that, right? So I have a fear of bills. I do not like seeing my bills. I put everything on automatic pay because I don't like seeing my bills. So when I think of push the envelope, it's me pushing out past my fear to do something I don't normally do, right? Because I'm pushing that envelope open to look at those bills and look at things that I'm not usually wanting to do. I'm pushing myself past my normal reservations, right? Pushing the
Yep.
envelope. That's what I think of.
Hey.
And that's all I have to say.
Hey, I
about
want to
that.
add to that. That's a great, very, very dope. And I'm calling back to something 20 probably forgot he said because he's such a clever guy. So there was a word this earlier this season that we discovered together called habiliments, which basically is like something that you put on somebody. It can be physical clothes or like something addressing that you put on somebody metaphorically or literally that like a soldier's habiliments would be like a sash, or you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or
Or the
attributes
ribbon.
of a sash, right? And so we
Or
brought
those.
this word up. Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
And I'm like, I brought the word up again in another episode, and I was like, hey, remember the word habiliments? And 20 was like, oh, any word with bill in it, I try to ignore. I don't even maintain no words that got the word bill in it. I don't even.
I know that's right, 20.
Listen,
Listen.
hey, listen, man, I've
Even when
grown.
I got the
I've
money,
grown.
I'd be like, I don't want to see it. Just take it out of the
Don't even.
account. I don't
I
need to
have
see that.
I have grown as a human being. All right, I have grown. All right, I have grown. There's certain things that I
Oh
still
man!
need to
All right.
grow on, but yeah,
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
way better than last
Mhm.
time. How about that?
I feel it. Well,
Development.
for me, push the envelope. I mean, I'm in the same realm as the both of you. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, for me, I guess because I am not risk averse at all. I say that pretty often to make sure folks know. I think that makes this phrase for me a little less potent, a little less effective, because I'm like, that's baseline. That's called living to me. So like I don't use it. So the first thing I think about is like the actual words, like the actual act of pushing an envelope and what I'm doing that for any reason. So like that's why I threw this on the list. This was one of the first ones on the list, and we're 5 seasons deep, so we're finally getting to it. So that's where I stand with that, and I wanted to see
And that's all I had to say about that.
where it was. All right, so let's jump into the definition. So we got 3. Merriam-Webster was not in the first 3 episodes, came back
brand
strong.
is back.
So Merriam-Webster, the brand, says and defines push the envelope as to go beyond normal limits and to try out a new and different idea that is often viewed as radical or risky. That's how they take it. Now, one of my favorites, Cambridge Dictionary, says to behave in more extreme ways or to try new things that have not been acceptable or tried before. And then dictionary.com, making their second straight appearance after not being involved all season, says that it is defined as to exceed limits of what is normally done, to be innovative. Okay, so we got our 3. We're going to kind of go in reverse order. Tosh, any one of those you connect with more? Any words stand out of the 3 definitions?
Honestly, it feels like they merge both my and 20's idea or framework of what
Yeah.
we already had for that phrase, especially Cambridge, right? It gave literally both my and 20's answer. So it had that idea of going past and pushing, pushing past your reservations and things like that. But it also talked about maybe wanting to turn up a little bit, right? And going in. so so I
Yeah.
think like and then Merriam's dictionary they kind of just did mine, right? And then
Yep.
and then one had both of ours and then one just had 20. So I think that's
Yep.
interesting because it also shows that when you live different types of life, different
The
experiences,
perspective,
maybe
yeah.
you'll get one definition of a word that's known and that becomes your everyday life and experiences, whereas a whole nother person living a whole nother life on the other side of the world has that same word and a completely different existence and understanding of that word. And both are
Absolutely.
valid and right according to what dictionary you listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which one
Hell
you
yeah.
think?
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
Which word were you at, 20?
No, I think she hit it right where it needs to be, because it's like when I heard Merriam-Webster, I was like, okay, I can definitely see how that one can go with the phrase, and then it's like those simple words like risk or exceed or things like that really kind of change. And like she said, like it puts a different perspective. Like, are you looking at this phrase as a positive phrase? Or are you looking at this phrase like how Mario, it feels like it's more not really a neutral, but it's like non-existent, because that's just how it is. That's how I feel like it has to be. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like perspective-wise, I would say I'm more with Cambridge, but I can definitely value what Merriam and Dictionary is saying. You know what I'm saying? Merriam and the dictionary.com are saying.
Got you.
And I
Got
think
you.
I stick with Cambridge too. And I also add, I think it's interesting that you talked about connotation, right, of
Mm-hmm.
risk, because both definitions are basically from a risk perspective, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
positive risk perspective and a negative risk perspective,
Exactly.
right? So I had that negative risk perspective of I'm scared of bills, son. And 20 had that negative risk perspective of, well, I don't want to, go off and act out and act
Yeah,
in. And
because you push
so,
them in. Yeah,
whereas
exactly.
you, who is a person who is not risk averse, who was like, it's just pushing past, your reservations, just pushing, just everyday stuff. You know what I mean? You
Hmm.
don't have to push past what you know sometimes. So
Right.
that connotation, I think, is important too of how we look at risk.
Perfect.
Hell yeah, exactly. And I think we're gonna go 3 for 3 here with Cambridge for all the things y'all have said. So I won't reiterate, but I do want to highlight one word for me, and it's behave, which I think adds a little bit more of like consistency, whereas like the other ones could be in a moment in time, like, I was out of body and I
I was out of
was,
pocket.
went beyond my limits once.
Yeah.
Whereas like behaving is almost a series of doing this so much that like this is my behavior. So I'm like, hey, I rock with Cambridge. 3 for 3. Cambridge is typically has become my favorite because they do add that little sauce to it.
Whenever they
typically.
define something, they add a little sauce to it.
They do. Them folks in Cambridge, they got they commit, man.
Listen,
Shout out to
they
them.
just
Shout out
don't
to, if
use,
anybody
salt
works
and
at the
pepper like
Cambridge
Webster.
Dictionary, you can't be on the show, but you can because conflict of interest. But you can write us an email. And say,
Yeah, exactly.
all right, man. Let's not waste time. Let's start this journey. Push the envelope into history.
Where'd that come from?
Okay. Let's just get this out the way, y'all. Let's just knock this out. Push the envelope has nothing to do with the mail, like 0% to do with the mail.
I told you. I told you.
0%. So I'm like, okay, if not the mail, then what? Okay,
Then what?
Deep breath, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. The envelope here isn't a container for letters. It's a mathematical envelope, which is defined as the focus of the ultimate intersections of consecutive curves. It's aviation and aeronautics. So it's a flight envelope that they're referring to. In this term, flight envelope came about during World War II, and it was printed in the Journal of Royal Aeronautical Society in 1944, with the passage saying the best known of the envelope cases is the flight envelope, which is in general use in this country and in the United States. The flight envelope covers all probable conditions by symmetrical maneuvering flight. So it is like the flight envelope is all that encompasses the possibilities of flying. That's the envelope that they're referring to. Now, how it actually works, we won't get into the weeds because we are a word show, not a math show, but hey, math is power, right? The envelope description of this is the upper and lower limits of various factors to keep a plane safe to fly. The speed, the engine, the power, the maneuverability with speed, the altitude. So if you're pushing the envelope, you're testing those limits. So pilots love the envelope and to understand what the envelope is at any given time so that they can test how safe it is for the plane to go. And so by 1978, this was printed in the Aviation Week and Space Technology magazine, and they said the aircraft's altitude envelope must be expanded to permit a ferry flight across the nation. NASA pilots were to push the envelope to 10,000 feet. So the envelope changes. There is not one envelope. The amount of ability for a plane to safely fly
it changes because they've been pushing it. They've been pushing
exactly
it.
Because they've been figuring it out. Exactly. They've been figuring out like, hey, no, we can do a little bit more.
Let's push it a little more. Push it out a little bit.
Bro, listen. I enjoy a good movie. A good movie. So the movie Hidden Figures, in the movie when they're saying push the envelope, they're not saying the phrase, "Hey man, push the envelope."
No, they're talking about the flight envelope of that rocket. Yes.
They are being that's the term. They're using the term.
Literal.
Yeah, they're being literal.
Come on, dog. Come on, man.
It's actually pretty cool. So, y'all, now that we know what a flight envelope is,
come on, man.
Let's talk about our own limits a little bit. Let's segue it because pilots know exactly what safe limits are. So, also shout out to the airlines. We complain. I am notorious for complaining. But then I have to say, over and over repeated that like flight delays are for my benefit. Flight delays are for my benefit. It just keeps saying that over and over because like they're probably testing the safety limits on each flight if it has something to do between weather and mechanical. So pilots know that. They know that for a fact. What about your all's everyday safe limits that you've actually tested? Like, are there any that you want to share? It can be something as small as like, hey, I can only carry, because this is a test that I used to do in my younger days. I can carry 9 grocery bags in one trip.
Listen, I was
to get them to, and not that 10th one. That 10th one is a dangerous one, or it can be something a little more serious. I'll start with you, Tosh. Anything that you've learned about yourself that's like, hey, this is my envelope.
So I'm still pushing this envelope, but I want to talk about the very real envelope of a working primary caregiver. I'm not just going to say mother, because there are some fathers out there who are primary caregivers, right? But that envelope of having a job and a passion and wanting to be ambitious and rise as much as possible in that job, but also be present and active and conscious when parenting your children. But then also, perhaps you have family and a spouse or a partner and people that you need to actively be for it too. And then you might even have some friends and things like that. And so that full mathematical equation, that envelope, the perfect formula for making sure all of those pieces of your life are satisfied or consistent or constantly being poured into without overwhelming yourself has been my envelope that I have been pushing for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Hey,
Do you
I'm not gonna lie.
I gotta ask a follow up.
Wait.
Because we're not. I mean, we're all in different ways figuring this out. So it's like,
listen, Mario,
what
I'm
have
not
you
gonna lie to you.
what
Before
have you
go,
learned you can do?
So it has been tough, right? So I didn't start off with a nonprofit. I started Supernova Mom off as a small business, right? And I had the beauty of Supernova Mama and then Supernova Parenting being about my parenting. It was about my parenting. It was what I was doing. But then the problem, it's not really a problem. It's a beautiful thing. But the issue came up that people wanted me to teach them. And I was like, okay, I need to be certified in order to teach others, and I need to be able to make the time to teach others. Whereas before, I was just parenting and then pulling it from my Ring camera and posting it. And that was what it was. Is this what I do? And then people wanted me to teach. And because I am a person who loves words and loves education and loves training and values that, I don't feel comfortable teaching without the right criteria. So then I went and got certified and got educated and got the training, right? That portion is where it got tricky because now I'm not just juggling being a mother, being a, and I say a wife, being a wife is important to me. Whether it doesn't have to just be wife, husband, partner, whatever. The life partner that I'm deciding to do this shit with for the rest of existence is an important relationship to me. And so I believe in filling in that cup, however that looks for us. And how that looks for me is excessive amount of sex and excessive amount of parallel time spent. And so that is another cup that I have to make sure
You
it's
gotta
full.
feel, yeah.
Yeah. And so then there's my friendships are important to me. I'm very selective. I have a best friend and a close friend, and one of the two close friends, and one of them live in Hawaii, so he's low maintenance. And then
Yeah.
but the other two live here in Georgia. And because that's important to me, I have to schedule time. Because I'm autistic and have ADHD, I schedule time on my calendar. Check in on your friend. Send your friend a loving text. Like I have, because I will forget. I got so much shit going on, right? Then
Yep.
I'm a disability advocate here in Georgia. So I have to go to the state capitol and talk to the congressmen and women about different policies that affect people with disabilities, particularly families of color and Black families, and resources and things like that, right? What I find is something always drops. Somebody's always mad at me. What I have to do is prioritize who can be mad at me and who can't. And that sounds horrible. And I know all the people in my life are going to be listening to this and be like, Tasha, what? My children can't be mad at me. Their development is way too important right now. So they can't drop, right?
Yep.
my relationship with their father, the partner, the person that's important to me, I now know can't be dropped. But I didn't know that in the beginning, so it did
Yeah,
drop.
that's real. That's
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
real.
But
yeah, yeah.
now I've realized that can't be dropped either, and so I have to pour into that. Here's where that becomes a problem. And the feminists gonna be so mad at me, but I'm gonna be honest about this. I am a black girl raised in Georgia, and my children are autistic, and my children are young children. They're 6 and 7. So there is a part of me that's like, I can hold off on this supernova mama and supernova parenting stuff, at least until my children are in middle and high school. I can't go full throttle. It's okay if I drop the ball on some stuff with this. It's okay if I miss opportunities with this because I already have these other things that I'm putting my cup in, and not as many people get mad at me that I care about. I'm sorry, y'all, but I don't
That's
know
real,
y'all.
man. That's so real. Hey,
Listen,
I'm
y'all
taking
not
that
in
in.
my everyday life. I don't know
Yeah.
y'all. So if I drop the ball on doing supernova parenting classes or going or doing speaking gigs all throughout the year, it to me is not as much of a detriment as dropping the ball on my 5 and 6 year old autistic children and advocacy and supporting them. It to me is not as big of dropping the ball of spending regular planted time with my husband, communicating, having our family meetings, making sure we're on the same page, doing our family therapy. It is not even in the same context to me as dropping a ball with taking care of my mother and my uncle who does not have children who are in old age, and making sure that my family, my network are doing activities like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those things are prioritized for me over making it big with Supernova Parenting and Supernova Mama. And so there are people in my life that are like, Tasha, I don't know why Supernova Mama and Supernova Parenting are having skyrocketed. Like what you teach, how you do it, it's amazing, all of the things. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's my fault. It's because I prioritize my children, my husband, and it's in that order too. My children, my husband, my friendships, and my family, and even my local community. My neighborhood baby kids, they get off the bus and come to my house, and I help all the kids in the neighborhood with their homework until their parents get off from work, and then they go to their parents' job with when they get off from work. So
That's
I
beautiful.
prioritize those things over Supernova Parenting and over Supernova Mama. And there's always this fight of me of I'm not a real feminist. I'm not a real like I because I'm like
Yeah.
I should be all about my business. Supernova Mama could be so many things. I could write books. I could have a podcast. I could do all these things. And then I'm like. But then what if something goes on with my daughter and I can't be there? I can't go straight to the school because I got this speaking gig. I got this, and that. So that balance, I have been pushing that envelope for years. And I mean, I'm here. It's not like Supernova Mama isn't doing amazing things. I have a
Right. Right.
documentary. I have a,
Yeah.
but the ambitious person in me is like, you could be doing more, nigga. You could do so much more. And then I'm like, okay, but is more going to come at the cost of me being an advocate for my kids?
At
Is
what
more going to
cost?
come at the
Yeah.
cost of me being to help all these neighborhood kids with their homework? So, yeah.
That's real,
There
man.
you go.
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
for that. That's hard. I mean, it is. You are pushing. You are pushing an envelope. You are working the variables, and that's all one can ask. Now, this not only interests. Like once we learn, because I'm interested in flight envelopes. I don't know where y'all at, but I'm like, hey, I like this. I like hearing about flight envelopes. It's not. We're not the only people that are interested, obviously. So actually, there's the actual term, the literal term, and then what actually made it a general use term was a publication by Tom Wolfe in a book called The Right Stuff in 1979. I don't know if y'all have heard The Right Stuff. It may be like, oh, tip of my tongue, where have I heard that from? I will explain, of course. So the 1979 book, The Right Stuff, written by Tom Wolfe. It was in the passage that reads, one of the phrases that kept running through the conversation was pushing the outside of the envelope. That seemed to be the great challenge and satisfaction of flight tests. Now, that's where pushing the outside of the envelope, pushing the envelope got to us common folk, us non-aviation, non-aeronautics folks. And how did it do that? Tom Wolfe. Tom Wolfe was an American author and journalist, widely known for his association with new journalism, a style of news writing and journalism that developed in the 60s and 70s that incorporated literary techniques. and Wolfe's work was like a satire, so it drew in some of that like clever satire crowd, and it centered on the counterculture of the 60s. So he was talking a lot and talking at class, social status, and the lifestyles of the economic and intellectual elites of New York City. Now, 20, that might sound familiar to you. If it doesn't, it's okay. We've had a lot of episodes. Tom Wolfe is also the author of the electric Kool-Aid acid test, which helped popularize the term drinking the Kool-Aid.
Drinking the Kool-Aid. That's why I know Tom Wolfe.
So Tom Wolfe wrote that book and The Right Stuff. And also The Right Stuff was adapted into a movie, by the way. So like that's probably where you might have heard it too.
That's exactly where I heard it from.
I'm an old lady, so The Right Stuff to me is New Kids on the Block. Oh. The Right Stuff. That's it.
That is. Now we got to see.
Now we got to see if it's connected to.
Exactly.
We got to see if everything connects. Now we got to see. Just because she hit the bridge, you got to see if it connected. Now,
what you about to ask me, bro?
Is that the first? Was that the first time it said pushing the outside of the envelope, or does that even matter? Like, cause you know what I mean? Like, did it change? Did it change the saying, or was that just, does it even matter that outside from inside?
So technically it matters.
Yeah.
Like in the technical aspect, it matters. The envelope is all the different portions. So you got high, low, inside, outside, whatever the description of the envelope, you have to describe it. And I'm assuming that this is an assumption, and I'll give you what I know based on research. So I'm assuming that the greatest challenge that Wolfe found in his study of writing this book was that the outside of the envelope was the hardest thing to lock in on, but pushing the envelope was said constantly. Right. Just in general, pushing the envelope is the thing that you do in aeronautics before it gets to us, before it gets to the common folks. They are in the lab pushing the envelope, like in reality. So Wolfe wrote the book because he was inspired by the desire to find out why astronauts accepted the dangers of spaceflight. So he got put on this assignment, and then this assignment created this other desire. Like, yo, okay, I'm learning about this NASA flight that's coming up, but like, why are y'all like down to do this, right?
Right.
So he recounts the enormous risks that test pilots were already taking in the mental and physical characteristics. That's where The Right Stuff came from. They had this combination of things, right, that were required for and reinforced by the job that they were undertaking. And Wolfe likened the astronauts, and I would love to hear your opinion on this, Tosh. He likened the astronauts to single combat warriors from an earlier era where they received the honor and adoration of the people before fighting. Like just being an astronaut and choosing to do it made you honorable before the act, right? So that's kind of where Wolfe was like, I got to highlight that, right? So let's talk about that inspiration for a second. Consider 20. We'll start with you with this one. Let's see if you can entertain me here. Consider a moment in your life where you knowingly accepted a risk, a significant one. And what was your right stuff? Like what values and convictions made you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go with this despite the dangers in place. And how did that, like the result of that choice shape you? Like where did you get something out of it today?
Dude, I feel like that would have to be becoming a parent. At the time when I first became a parent, as when everybody would be like, "Oh, you have to be this, you have to do that, you have to have this amount of money and this." I was not checking any boxes, But when we decided to have our child, it changed a lot. It changed everything. It changed my mindset. It changed my motivation. It changed, from where I started. I would honestly say that having my child and my children, because I have more than one now, is the sole reason for me being where I'm at right now.
What, if I can ask you, what was the thing that let you know, if you had one, you don't even have to have one, like the moment you were like, okay, I understand this is about to happen. I understand it's high risk. I understand there's a lot at stake. I can do this. Like what things that you have before you were shaped into the person you are today that let you know you could do it?
dude, it was my family. Like it was like I've seen, a lot of my family members do it with less.
Yeah.
And it was like a situation where it's like, okay, how we all came together, and Lord knows what that it takes a village. That was a
Hmm.
part of the Williams mantra, bro. Like, and it's like it was known that, like, you're never alone, especially when it comes to the babies. You're never alone. So I feel like that right there was that point of me thinking like, oh, it's just my turn. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up with a huge family, so I've seen it. I've seen the camaraderie. I've seen everybody pitch in. I've seen everybody come together and support. So it was more of getting that fear of, man, I'm about to have a child, to the point where, oh man, I can do this. It's just my turn. It's just, it's
Just
going to
my
be a
turn. Wow.
situation where, now it's my turn for everybody to put their praying hands on me and put their helping hands on me, instead of me just watching my family do it to other people.
Heard that. Heard that.
We call
Dope.
that interdependence in my parenting classes. Everybody wants people to be independent, but community is how we get through these things that are past the envelope. And so,
Hmm.
interdependence, being able to take care of what you can take care of and being able to call on your community and your village for those things outside of that envelope.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and I know that that's why I always tell everybody, everyone's journey is different. Mine is
Mhm.
something that I can definitely, be proud of and praise and help other people, feel uplifted when they come to the same situation, because it was nothing but positivity. It was nothing but love, from the beginning. From the beginning, and it was just my own personal fears that I had to get over. It wasn't
Yeah.
nothing that I thought or I was thinking of came into fruition, like everything that I thought of, because it's like, you hear people war stories, and you hear people, oh no, I can never do this, that, whatever the case may be, and you realize that it's just selfishness, and you realize that, when you have a child, like, that selflessness, like, that's the biggest word that, you know what I'm saying, like that, it's remarkable. It's remarkable.
Is.
So,
Appreciate that, bruv. Appreciate that. Tosh, how about you? Anything that you know about yourself that got you through the big risk?
So I'm a veteran.
mhm.
I joined the military because I couldn't afford Spelman College. I did a year at Spelman, and I could not afford, at that time it was 36,000 a year in tuition. I couldn't afford it. And so I went and got a business suit, and I went to Spelman's career association and wrote a resume and went to the veterans office, the recruiter's office.
Yeah.
And they laughed at me and they was like, girl, you don't need none of this. Just take this test.
That's funny.
I just wanted to be prepared, y'all.
But when I got there, right? When I got there, of course, I had my long curly, kinky curly hair and my makeup, and I was cute because it was 20, 30 years ago, and I was still looking decent.
Oh god.
And all they were doing was yelling and cursing and all of the things, right? And so many of the other girls and boys were like really losing it at all the yelling and the fussing and all the things. And I remember saying, and it's gonna sound so awful, so let me preface this. Remember, I got a lot of trauma. I'm the oldest of seven kids.
Mm.
Housing insecurity, all of the things in Northwest Georgia. But I remember saying they not hitting us. I mean, they can
That's real,
Yeah,
yo.
right.
they
That's
can.
real. Like, yeah, when they
But
just
did you
talk.
I
die?
was
Did you die? That's
I
you.
was like, they can't hit us though. Like all they can do is yell. So if you can learn to block the yelling out,
Hmm.
you can get out. And then finally, I started giving them a mantra, which has been my mantra through all of that, right? So through the trauma of my childhood and on, I've always said, you got to do what you need to do now, so that when it comes time to do what you want to do, you can.
Yeah.
So let's do what we need to do now. They're going to yell and scream and whatever, but you need to get through basic training so you can be a soldier, so you can get your college education, so you can get the things you want. So you got to do what you need to do now and tough it out so that when it's time to do what you want to do, you can. Are you going to be able to do that? And that's what I used to tell myself to push the envelope.
That's excellent.
Awesome.
I love that. I love what y'all are combining. I'm gonna bring a third thing, a third internal thing. But what I'm hearing is that like it's an observation of like the environment, and then you're like, oh, this is what I can do based on the environment. So 20 got community, you got luck, you got clarity.
Lock in.
Yeah, lock in clarity. Mine in a similar vein, like whenever I would meet a high risk, and I've created a lot of my own opportunities for high risk, is like I really don't believe that I can get out of here until it's time for me to get out of here. I really believe that like I can persevere through damn near any, like if I'm convicted and my conviction has brought me to a risk, that's all I actually need internally. Like, and then I will scan for my resources, community, for like, what's the one thing that I can, like pinpointing my survival spot. Like, hey, as long as they don't hit me, I'm good. And then I have to, if they do start hitting me, I will probably create another one. Like, well, they ain't bloodying me, so like, you just start to, you feel me? Like, well, my bones ain't broke. So that's like my thing.
Because
That's
I
my,
literally
like, right
fractured my
stuff.
back in basic training. I was like, well, they didn't hit me. I fractured it falling, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. You'll find anything. You'll find anything like, yo. So that's kind of my right stuff is like, man, look, how dark, and I don't say this I say it in jest, but I'm dead serious. How dark can it get? Let's see how dark this gonna get before I tap out. And I'm really like that. So that's where like I can, and that does shape me because I'm too apparent. And it's like, I have a pretty clear like line of like, hey, this is Mario's willing to go into, like, I'm willing to have my eyes dilate, but like this ain't for everybody. Like I have a very harder line for that. Before I would be like, hey, if you got to get in that dark room, you got to get in that dark room. And I was pretty much more like abrasive about it. I've never been unkind. I've never been that type of person, but I'm like, hey, straight shooting. You got to get in the dark room with me if you going where I'm going. Like,
Or you getting left behind.
Or you getting left behind.
Children
yes.
changed that so much.
Whole thing, like, yo, Mario, that ain't for everybody. Like, if you want to go in there, then you go into the darkest part of the room, and the people that you rock with are allowed to stop at the part that is not for them. And I learned that. Yeah. That helped shape me to this day as well. And I know 20 can attest to that a little bit.
I think Tyler Perry said that too as well, but he was like, y'all climbing a mountain, but some people can't handle the altitude that you can handle. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not your fault, not their fault. You know, they just can't handle that altitude. That doesn't mean that you stop because you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay. I fuck with that. So what kind of like what you
and they can help you get to your altitude and you're gonna need them when you come back down. And so it comes back to that community you talked about 220, right? Of locking in, yes, and being able to go, but being appreciative and knowing how your community can contribute to that and contributing back to your community once you get to those places that you're at.
Yeah,
absolutely, and that came over time, 1,000%.
Same for me. I had that same list because I was like, girl, they ain't hitting us. You ain't gonna make it here. I'm gonna do these.
I'm good. Like what you real? I'm solid. Word. Oh, word. Yeah. That's all this is. Cool. Just take your jacket off. It's not that hot. Just take your jacket. Yeah. That's how So we jumping from the, you know what I'm saying, the 79 book. So let's talk a little bit more about the book specifically before we get out of here. So let's set the stage. 72, some dude. I'm not even editor of the Rolling Stone at the time. Look that person up. Doesn't even matter right now. I have their name, but I thought just in that moment, why big them up? They don't have anything to do with this. Assign Wolfe to this thing. Cover the launch of NASA's last moon mission, Apollo 17. That's where he, was like, yo, astronauts are the dopest. They really have something that I don't have, or was compelled, a competitive spirit, whatever. So he was like, I'm going to write a piece. I'm going to write a book that's going to outdo Norman Mailer's book was a nonfiction about the first moon mission as well, called Of a Fire on the Moon. So he was like, I got to write a better book than this guy. And so him wanting to do that, leaned him into the NASA thing and was like, okay, I want to write another book that I actually care about, that's not competitive based. And that ended up being the right stuff, because he also noticed the depression in some astronauts that they experienced going through the prep and then having been in space and coming back. It's like they came back different people. So he began researching the space programs, and what became a 7-year project that he took on. And he wrote an art book about it first. Then he came back to like finishing this book, and he wrote more so about the space race than the space program, space exploration in general. Like it went from, hey, I want to know how they're like getting in space and what they're doing, to like, oh, this space race greatly impacted how these astronauts were treated, how they approached it. And so the Soviet Union's early space efforts are mentioned only as a background because he focused on the U.S. approach to it. Project Mercury, which was the first operational crew space flight ever, right? So the emphasis was on the personal stories of the astronauts and their partners and the technical aspect, rather than the technical aspects of space. So he's like, yeah, there's a lot of flight envelope stuff in here, but yo, what's up with the people? How are the people doing?
How they're doing.
And what he ended up learning was that there were political reasons behind putting people into space, in that the Mercury astronauts were actually considered a burden on the whole space program. Like the actual people going into space were like a side, and like, we got to get through with these people, and they were sent up for promotional reasons, and that NASA and the government in cahoots were thinking about sending up like some athletes, for not actual pilots, but some athletes, because they were like already physically ready to do so. Yeah, like imagine, like get Brian, get Steph,
they physically
get Pat
ready,
Mahomes.
but they would not have been mentally ready for that.
No. Like, dog, can you imagine? Like, no, get Bo Jackson up in there. Send Bo. Bo knows.
So see, that goes back to your question that you have of me, that I avoid it, and I avoid it for a reason, because I don't think people are gonna like it. But people don't like my views on veterans and Army. And I think that NASA, anyone who is going into space is way more heroic than what I did. I had 2 campaigns in Afghanistan, but I knew we train for this, right? We know what's in Afghanistan. We go to remote locations in Louisiana and in Tennessee, and we train constantly over and over again how to clear a room, how to line up in a firefight, how to respond with our Q force if somebody attacks our fob. We know that. We do that. But you're going to space, my friend. And you think you know, but it's space.
Yeah.
And then when you get up there, for us, when we're training, we have these battle buddies, these people who are on our right and our left. It's a group of us. We go out and party together. We do things together. I have battle buddies who will still contact me. When I started my nonprofit, the first people to donate besides Take Keith were my battle buddies from when I was deployed.
Yeah, that's what's up. Battle buddies and Take Keith.
Hey, Keith donated because he was rude to me on Twitter, and my publicist told him his way to apologize was to donate to the nonprofit. But that's a side point. There was a Chuck Berry mix up.
Fuck Take Keith.
Somebody was picking on Chuck Berry because Chuck Berry has a riff that he does prior to each of his songs, and it sounds the same. And so somebody was talking about how he just plays the same song, and I said, no, that's a tag, like a producer, like Take Keith fucking niggas up, like that's a producer tag, right? It's just Chuck Berry's is a guitar riff because he's a musician of a very past time. And so I said, it's like Take Keith fucking, and then Take Keith thought I was talking about him, and he said, well, fuck you, like it went wild.
It went crazy. He was acting out. He acted
out on me. And I was like, oh, I was using it as a compliment. I did not have to compare you to Chuck Berry, but all right, you got it.
Yeah.
It did a whole bunch of I do have people who ride for me. I have a little bit of a following. It's not a big following, but I do have people who ride for me. And so a whole bunch of people was like, that's not what she meant. She was talking about a producer's tag. You are very rude. And so he apologized and called me queen, and then he donated to my nonprofit.
Grand Rising Queen. Great.
Exactly, great equalizer. My bad, Queen. My
No,
bad, Queen.
no,
Great
no. Hold on,
equalizer.
KP. I ain't trying to cause no
Yeah,
trouble.
no.
Hey,
Take
no,
keep.
hey,
Just
Go
no,
saying
ahead. This
what
is
no,
not. This is
I
not to
talking about
re.
You know we
This is
good
not to.
people now. We good now.
We're not reintroducing. If you want to send a little more, we are good. We are good. Send a little more. We are good, Tay.
But you know that's what
No.
happened. So I'm gonna say what happened because I'm real now. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
But outside of all of that, right? When we were look, I done lost my place. Where was I at? Take
Oh
heed.
no, no. The battle buddies. Battle buddies. Battle buddies.
Battle buddies, right? So we have battle buddies on our left and our right. We have people who look out for us. They're always there. Whereas when those it's like three or four of them. And what if one of them weird and the other one just like to read?
Exactly. Like
You just up
astronauts are
there
not like all these people are brought on different folks.
You just up there with your thoughts? Did you have? I don't know. Y'all don't want to hear my thoughts all alone for months on end. Boy, I come
I'm
back.
starting to get exactly that. And the crazier part, you want to. They didn't even have no real responsibility, so let's add that to it because the ship flew itself. That first one, so they was up there doing nothing, and it made it so crazy, y'all. That
You up
and
there
what
floating, playing with toothpaste.
that's it.
Nothing
That's
to
it. Like,
talk
what can we
about.
do up here, man? Except hate each other. You can't really like. You don't know how to get like what's fun up here. You don't know. You don't know these people. I don't actually have to fly. And then they got back, and Wolfe was like, noticed that when they landed in that water, all of the team ran after the ship. And then, and he was like, "Hey, what about like pick up the folks, the pilots?
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll get them too. We'll get them too." So
That's so funny, man. Wow.
real quick before we get out of here, man, like there's that conflict of like putting people in space and how that happened. You know, when have you chosen to do something that like was for the look as opposed to like, because sending them pilots out was for the look. Eisenhower did it for the look. What's something that you did that was for the look that wasn't actually like necessary or practical? You know what I'm saying? And did it teach you anything about like, hey, this is okay to do things for the look, or I would never do that again? Who's gonna jump in?
For the look.
You know what? I'll do it. Listen, of course, it comes with knowledge and being a grown ass woman now. But tight clothes get on my. Oh, I hate tight clothes so much.
Yeah,
But
that's
listen, in
exactly
my
where I was
20s,
going with my
everything
thing.
was tight. I had all the bustiers, the short skirts, all the things. Now it is so aggravating to me. My skin can't breathe. I'm worried that my tickle bitty's out. I'm worried that my booty out. I'm worried. I can't do any tight clothes anymore. But when I was in my 20s, it looked good. Everybody had something to say. I knew the attention was on me. I was all about it. Now, if you see me in something tight, it's because it's date night with my husband. I'm like, you better take this off of me when we get home
You got
because I'm not wearing.
one
I'm
job.
tired of it already.
Yeah. No, I was definitely going to say that too as well. It had to be oversized T-shirts. When we, I feel for you it was tight. For us, it was 5X. We had the 5X on. We was doing the 5X.
That was not necessary, dog.
Bro, it was nowhere near necessary. 5X is
Ooh, and the
T-shirts with
sagging.
5X.
I'd be like, ain't that
Oh, listen.
uncomfortable? Your
It's
pants
just for the
hanging
look.
down. Like, don't that feel uncomfortable?
It was a bad time. I could never go
Bro, there was
back.
a point in time where I would get mad. Like, you ain't got no 5X in here? What y'all? Why y'all got no 5X
You'll
in
be
here?
pissed.
Like,
Like,
seriously,
no,
you
we
ain't got
don't
the button up.
don't make that many of them, sir.
Like, what's going on? What kind of establishment is this, man? So yeah, I would say that. I was gonna go
that's
clothes
great.
around too as well. That 5X era was crazy.
Ooh, listen, we went from 5X to business casual. See, then we
Yeah,
was all
Exactly. He was in there
in the
with vests
club.
on.
exactly.
Blazer me out.
You had to have the vest in the club. After that, they was like, yo, with the
I had
5X.
a pinstripe bustier with a tight skirt.
Oh,
Like,
I
come
mean,
on, man. With some
yeah, it
kitten
was
heels. Come on,
pin in your
man.
ear.
it was bad, dude.
Exactly.
We
Hey,
had great
man.
music, but horrible stuff.
Hey, y'all get it. I rock with y'all heavy. Let's grade it. Now that we've gotten to it, it was Tom Wolfe, man. It was Tom Wolfe that did it. But it's not has nothing to do with mail. We got through it. Let's grade it. So Tasha, and for any new listeners, welcome. Shame on you, but welcome for coming. Tasha, for you. Tosh, for you. We do have a 3-part grading scale, A through F scale, 3-part categories: power, impact when it's said, heard, does it get its point across? 20 is gonna take care of that. A through F. I'm gonna do the speed, the flow off the tongue. Is it easy to say? I'll do that. A through F, and then you will take care of the overall feelings, overall preference. You can include what we've learned today. You can think about, like, do I even say it? It's a connection, whatever you feel to round us out. We will do that to grade this phrase. Pluses and minuses do count. So 20 power grade.
For power, I was thinking about this too as well, a little bit beyond. But it's like I feel like I would have to give it a B, only because that we have some phrases that go all the way, way, way back. And I feel like when you said it was like 1776, I believe, or something like that, around the 17.
Oh, no, my brother. 1944. You're thinking of 1979 for the Right Stuff book.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
That's on me. So yeah, it's not even, the longevity of it kind of take me down a little bit. And honestly, Mario, the definition of it didn't really because it was a situation where it wasn't about an actual envelope and it wasn't about the actual mail. Like, I feel like I just learned this all over right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it seems a little bit more exciting, and I'll be a little bit more excited to actually say it later on in life. But I feel like just the reset button that you just pushed on this phrase for me kind of boosted it up to the B, but I cannot give it more than a B because of the longevity.
That's real. This is one of the younger phrases we got. So B, got you. And I also want to add, it's not reflected in the grade, but I would say, again, like how I started the show, I don't know if it's anything, like if you say it, you do it. I'll take that back. I think when you say push the envelope, people actually might. Yeah. Like it actually might get people to do it. So I'll take that back.
It moves people. I feel like it's not too commercial, but it's like mom and pop. Like people know about it. Like people will know about it. Maybe they might not use it, but if you say it to somebody, then they'll understand and they'll kind of like have a little bit more of a backing towards it. But rarely do you hear somebody saying, "Oh, look at him, he's pushing the envelope." Like that's super, super rare. So
yeah, I get that. Word. Well, for the speed, push the envelope, I think I'm gonna give that a B minus, actually, even though it's short. Push the word envelope is just never gonna be. There's two ways to say it. They're both correct. In this instance, that's a negative. That's because you got it. Who are you pleasing here? It's not like gray where you're spelling different but sounds the same. Like you're saying it differently, and it's not an attractive word to say. Push was going hard. Started off strong, fell off weak. So I'll give it a B minus here. Tosh, what are you gonna do? How you gonna round us out? Overall grade.
I'm gonna give it a C. Here's why. Hear me out. I think if we had kept the phrase the way it was written in the book, where we're pushing outside of the envelope as opposed to pushing the envelope, then myself and 20 wouldn't have had that correlation to mail and to an envelope itself, as opposed to that aerodynamic envelope, right? And so that losing that outside, I think, makes it lose its juice because it kind of loses its reference and its meaning, right? So, like exactly what 20 said, before coming here, I reckoned it to a mail envelope, and now I have the understanding of the aerodynamicness and how the envelope could be anything, right? It could be whatever math equation I have in my head, as we saw with what I did with the whole work-life balance of a primary caregiver. But I didn't have that knowledge before we had this episode. So I'm going to give it a C because that outside got taken out, and that outside makes it lose its reference completely.
Right.
Oh, I love it. That's good. That's some good appraising right there, man. That's some good appraising right there. I love it. All right, we got two more things to do. One thing, Tosh, tell people where they can find you, how they can support anything coming up next.
Absolutely. So I have a class called it's my Supernova Parenting class. You do 9 weeks with me. You're not just taught positive discipline, you're also taught about acting in and acting out, which is called your high stress response, where you go into fight, flight, freeze, or fun when somebody got you fucked up, right? And you figure out what
Yep.
you're gonna do in a split second. And I teach you that you don't want to do any of those four things. You want to respond, not react. So you need to go and regulate and how that regulation can look. We also talk about child development and we talk about neurodevelopmental disabilities, mental health vulnerabilities, and how those affect children in ways that you can support. So that's why it's 9 weeks. A lot of it is, it's not PowerPoint. I'm just not a PowerPoint person. It's a lot of experiential activities where I make you the kids and I start talking to you like how normal parents talk. And then I talk to you from the positive discipline perspective. And I just have you think about how each feel and what you like about them and what you don't. It's not about making you be me. It's not about making you completely change your parenting. It's about you understanding the foundation of authoritative parenting
Oh, that's great.
versus authoritarian parenting because you want your children to not be followers in this world. And if they're only a follower in your house, they have
Likely.
to learn how to make choices and problem solve and lead. And the first place that they need to learn that is with you. And if you're not giving them any chances to do that, you're building a follower. And so I'm very strong about that opinion, especially when it comes to children with disabilities, because when we follow, it can be very unsafe and unhealthy. And
Yep.
it can put us in very dangerous situations. So you can find me on supernovaparenting.org. You can email me at hello@supernovaparenting.org. And I also have supernovamama.com coming back because I'm going to try to do more speaking engagements and disability advocacy, but I still got to make sure I'm in my
I
envelope, so
was
we'll
just
see.
about to say, hey, listen, hey, if y'all see postponed or coming
Pushing
soon,
it
just
back,
know.
but
Yes.
That's
Also the
awesome.
podcast. So yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
in that podcast too. Yo, thank you again. Thank you. Hit her up. Hit up Tosh. Y'all call her Natasha till you actually, you know what I'm saying? You got to get familiar. We earned
Yeah.
the right. We earned the
We
right. So
talk
we
those
got one
letters.
last
We earn
thing
the
before we
right to
get out
talk
of
those letters.
here.
The Dictionary
Ooh.
of Misinformation.
Now, Tosh, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. We have a book that me and Mario found. All right. Now, this book is called The Dictionary of Misinformation. And what we do is we ask our guests to give us a letter. And what Mario's going to do is going to go through the book and find some information that we probably been misinformed pertaining to that letter. So we ask for just a single letter in the alphabet. You know what, Tosh? Whatever's letter you want to do, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Even if we've done
Perfect.
it before, we really, really enjoyed you on this show, and we just want to make sure that you stay comfortable from beginning to end. So whatever letter you want to do, just let us know, and we'll go from there.
So my initials is triple N, so let's do N.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
that's hard, by the way.
Natasha Nicole Nelson.
Is it
Triple N.
Nicole or Nicole?
It's Nicole. My mom was wanting to be different because everybody was naming their kid Nicole, middle names back then. You different. You
Yo,
Nicole.
so you're a product of a petty person too as well, huh? So why our parents be so petty? Who you been petty for? Just the world. I don't want nobody had his name. Then your daughter, Devontae. She's like, come on now. What you been petty for?
Everybody want to name their child Nicole now, middle name. Now that my baby name Nicole. That's why yours is different. It's Nicole. It's not Nicole. It's Nicole.
I love that. And get it right.
And get it
Let's
back.
let's
That's all.
inform us
Shout out to Mo.
on the natural oils as unsaturated fats. Let's see.
Okay.
Advertising slogans notwithstanding, not all vegetable oils, nor those derived from plants rather than animals, are the kind which minimize cholesterol buildup. Coconut oil, for example, is very highly saturated. One would certainly do himself little good by changing from lard or butter to a coconut oil product. So you don't
Wow.
always have to have an unsaturated fat to have a natural fat, everyone.
This is actually misinformation that I literally really had to learn. So
Yeah.
I had my gallbladder taken out from emergency surgery. And after that, I struggled to lose weight. I was gaining copious amounts of weight, and I did not understand why. But I had been told that I needed to move to more healthy fats, right? So I was eating like avocado and coconut oil and things like that. And I cut off all the canola oil, butter, things like that. But when you don't have a gallbladder, you struggle to what's the word I'm looking for? Digest and break down all fat. It don't matter if it's a healthy fat or not.
Yeah.
It's still a fat. And what you just read, right? So coconut oil is still highly fat. And so I was thinking it was a healthy fat and setting myself up. And so learning that knowledge along with same thing with sugar and during healthy sugars for me, I just have to cut low fat and sugar period because I don't have a gallbladder saved me and allowed me to start losing weight. Because I was, I gained
Look
like
at that.
70 pounds. So good misinformation.
Look at that.
Perfect
Look
for
at that.
me.
Dictionary of Misinformation. The first time we ever had it
Somebody
supported.
check it, and then it checked out.
It checked out.
We usually don't let nobody argue with it. Tasha, listen, like I said, we're gonna make sure you're comfortable
Because you're pushing the envelope.
Because you push the
And
envelope.
look, I was saying it's absolutely facts. Look,
Usually
my
will cut the
life
light.
backed it up. That's facts.
Go ahead, 20, your turn, man. What you got?
Oh man, listen, this is I just for one, I just want to say that I learned a lot on this show. Positive discipline, not just for children but for adults. Natasha, thank you. Usually I give like a quote, but you had said one earlier. You do what you have to do now, so when it comes time, you can do what you want. And I felt like, oh yeah, that's something I could let the audience know at the end. So a wise woman once said, all right, I don't know if you remember, Mario, but you say you do what you have to do now. So in time, when it's time, you can do what you want. I like that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Mario.
I will say what I want to do right now, but I also have to do right now is let you know that you can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube for the visuals. We are brought to you by the Underdog Podcast Network. Go to appraisethephrase.com for our live event updates, our kids game updates on our digital partners, other podcasts, our Writers Club, all the things, man. Love on people, love on the kiddos, love on what you do. And if you don't do nothing else, also remember that value is in the eye of the appraiser. We'll check y'all next week.
Yeah, like